Alrighty. It's a Monday art stream. Alright, still getting myself organized here. Arm doesn't want to bend in that direction. Good. Okay. So let's get our colors situated. Now I have to try to remember what the hell color combo we were using yesterday. So we are back working on our Bob Ross needle felting. Oh, I wanted to change that category. Oh well. That's fine. So, we are following along with the tutorial from The Joy of Painting from Season 3, Episode 9, The Old Mill. The link is in the chat, and it has been pinned for anyone that wants to see the tutorial in full. There it is. I know we used lime green. I know that much. What the hell was the other colors we used over here? Shit. I don't remember. It was lime green. I remember that much. It kind of looks a little bit like we've got glorious gold in there, I think. No, the other one might have been mustard, because we hadn't used that one yet. Maybe? Did I like not pull yellow out? Where's my buttercup? Did I not pull buttercup? Are we not using buttercup? No. What? What the fuck? Oh, I dropped it. No, give me my... Damn it, it's caught in my chair. I'm like, there should have been another yellow here. I don't understand what it was. I know I had another yellow. I dropped it apparently and didn't realize it. Oy. Alright. Okay, so we're just kind of stretching out all of those fibers. Alright, so what was the other color? It's kind of dark. I know it was 3. I don't think it was varsity. It had to be mustard. It had to be. Because I'm pretty sure this was varsity and fairly certain that that was varsity and buttercup. I hope everybody's having a fairly decent week. Okay, so now let's see about mixing all these guys together. With some semblance of a blended combination of colors here. Do I need to add just a little more green? I don't know. I don't want it to be too grassy green. That might be. Alright, a little bit of water. Just mostly so I can get a little bit of friction on my hands here. So it's going to be a slightly different ratio here compared to what we had going yesterday. That's okay though. Alright, so we're just going to jump back into where we left off yesterday. And I'm gonna just try to bring up the new row, kind of just touching the bottom here. We've got a bit more green in the other one, but I think it's just happenstance, because I mean we've got more green down in the bottom section of this guy. Just think we haven't quite gotten to our green yet in here. And you can vary the heights on your next row for how far it's touching the row above it. I just didn't want to completely overpower that row. Okay. You know, just kind of feel it out, see how it goes for you. And, you know, just kind of plant your field, basically, for however you're wanting it to look. And just repeat that till we get to there, basically. Now you could do this in like snakes going across and just have it like woven into each other if you wanted. Trying to do more of like an up and down tall, like overgrown flatter field coming up to the riverbank. That's just what I'm going for. And based off of what Bob's got like different shrubs and things in there. It's kind of hard to tell because he kind of went ham on mostly one color or the same combo of colors in there, but that combo of colors it's sort of the same in there. I mean, he adds a little bit different here and there, a little heavier on one than the other, but it's easier to do that with paint because you've got your brush and your bristles creating leaf patterns and things. So we have to try to find a way around that over here. So this is my solution to it. If you have a different solution and you want to follow along, by all means, do your solution. Do what feels better for you, or what you like the look of better. Don't forget to pick up your piece off of the mat every so often so you don't become permanently attached to your mat. We like our mat, just not that way. Sorry if you hear any banging or clanging in the background. It's coming from the other room. Husband's working on something. So we did get our fire pit recorded last night. We think we got enough to loop. We're gonna do one more loop, or one more recording, I think, with another set of wood. I don't know if we're doing that tonight or not. I think if we're going to, we probably should do it tonight, because they're talking about severe weather potentially later this week or midweek. So we might want to set that up sooner than later. I have to look at the weather forecast for the next couple of days because I gotta get our recycling outside because I didn't do it last week. Because I was too fucking tired to deal with it after we got back from the zoo. Somehow we didn't have that much recycling because I haven't put any outside in almost 2 weeks now. But our kitchen is a disaster with all of the recycling building up in there now. So I was supposed to do that last night, but that didn't quite end up happening. Right. So we'll get this. Remember, if you're going to be snipping a larger section off that you didn't attach, be very careful. You want to get close, but you don't want to cut your project either. tiny bit here just to cover this edge. Oh, that is why we have finger protectors. And don't forget to go back and stab down those loose ends after you've trimmed. All right. I don't want this super tight, but we do need it a little bit tight. Just a little bit. Don't want to lose our entire blend here. We don't want it too willy-nilly. And if it looks like it's getting a little too stripy and not really variegated very much, you can always like turn your fiber snake and decide to stab from a different side if that'll give you a different color variation. Okay. And I'm just gonna fan out our fibers here. Like I'm trying to keep it in a snake just to make it easier to lay in here so it's not totally out of control. But I also kind of want those ends a little bit haphazard too there. I want it both ways. All right. Okay. So we'll get this all worked into here. Okay. Oh, alright, well that's become 2 pieces now. That's just the way that's gonna be. I had a feeling that was not gonna fully stay together. And this is just gonna be one of those things where you kind of have to like zen into the moment. And just kind of be like, okay, what feels like should be the deal here, you know? Kind of see where things are going to take you. And just kind of run with it. This one might become a little bit problematic here in a minute as we get to one of the thinner spots. We'll see though. See how that goes. I think the husband has his podcast that he's listening to turned up a little loud since I can hear it. Unless it was just a particularly loud spot in it. Just heard a whole bunch of cheering. Okay. Kind of feels like an autumn field here. The colors starting to change. He's very big into his fall colors. If you think about it, there are quite a lot of Bob's paintings that feel very fall-like. And I'm not sure if that's just happenstance or if that was just more his jam, but he really liked winter too. But maybe it was by design because fall stuff's a little more... Well, you know, fall stuff can be colorful, but other times it can be also kind of monotone. Or at least a very limited color palette, if you think about it. It depends on what you're looking at, really. Because, like, yeah, he's got a lot of, like, yellows and browns in here. There's a little splash of green hanging on. He didn't necessarily say this was a specifically fall painting. That's kind of what it feels like. Okay, got some loose ends here that are being a little bit stubborn. And I guess that's okay, because we're going to come back in with the row underneath of it. Hi, Momo. I promise, buddy, I don't have food. I promise. What's up? Hi. Can I do for you? Do you need to go potty? Or you just want a goodie? Hi. We had to give him some comfort cheese earlier. I think he's feeling the weather change, huh? Oh, did I find a good spot? I found a tickle spot. It's making your leg shake. Alright. Give me 1 second. I guess we're taking a puppy potty break. I'll be back in a few moments. Okay. I'm back. Sorry. Pupper had to pee. We got right down to business this time. There was no fucking about. Alright. Sorry for that interruption. So let's jump back into it here. Hope everybody's Monday started off okay. And that your weekend was a decent one. Excuse me. Surprisingly warm out. Oh. Hang on. We've got a... Okay. Sorry, I had a notification on Windows. Had a little red warning dot on it, and I was like, what is this? It was just breaking news. We try not to get into the news or politics too much, because it can tend to bring out the worst in people. So we try to avoid that while we're live. When possible. This is the very reason why we have finger protectors, because I keep stabbing the tip of my finger. Trying to get this in where it needs to go. Alrighty. My field line is crooked. I can see that it's crooked. It feels crooked. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. My head sits slightly askew. Naturally. It's been noticeable in photos since I was in high school. Like all of my school pictures, like my head's like tilted to the side. Kind of aggravating. So I'm trying to figure out where I want to place this guy. How far I want to fan him out. So we hit a section of fluff that didn't have much green in it. At least I'm not seeing it. Oh no, well, there's a bit towards the bottom there. So this might be a little bit tedious for some people, the constant snipping and moving over, but you are creating something here, so you're going to be putting the time in it one way or another, right? So, I mean, I know what we said today's plan was going to be. I don't know how far we're going to get into that plan. But we did have one. So the plan for today was to, at the very least, finish up to here. And then start in on the other side. And we'll see how far we get. I did manage to start a few minutes early today, so hopefully we can get some things done here. Ooh, I just got dizzy. Wow. I felt like I was gonna fall, but I'm sitting down. Damn. That was not fun. It always creeps me out when that happens. Alright. I don't mind so much the constant snipping and moving over. Sometimes I get annoyed by it, but it is producing a decent result, I think, so we'll keep with it, but I can see how it can be a little tedious for some. I was actually planning on starting even earlier, but I got distracted looking at YouTube. I was checking, making sure I didn't have anything I have to deal with over there on the back end side of things, and that one went into the finger protector. It didn't get me. I stopped my hand fast enough, but that one definitely went into it. Got distracted seeing different Planet Zoo builds popping up in my feed. Okay. We're hitting a little bit more of a yellow section. Okay, probably started that one a little short. Should have been up a little bit higher. But you know what? That's okay. That's okay, because then that kind of gives us a little break and lets some of our dirt show through. I mean, it was unintentional on that one, but hey, that works out. Most definitely. I'm just gonna fan out our fluff here. And it can take a couple extra minutes to make sure that you've got all your little loose ends tapped down. So, you know, don't rush it. Should be one of those things that just kind of zone out doing. Don't zone out too much, because I mean you don't want to stab yourself, but shouldn't be that stressful. I have the window open, so the traffic noise is going to be a little bit louder. but my microphone does face the street now, so I do apologize. Not a whole lot I can do about that. Okay, how are we doing back here? We're not doing too bad. We're gonna have to clean our mat at some point here. Oh, we found some more green fluff. Alrighty. So I mean, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Not quite like Bob's, but you know, we get the point. It was never going to be 100% dead on like Bob's. I think the closest one we came to being pretty close to Bob's was going to be the lighthouse one so far. We're going to try to start the edit for the speed felt of the lighthouse one sometime this week, hopefully. We've just been busy. Other stuff's had a higher priority. Okay. Alrighty. Don't forget to take a minute to sit back and look at what you've done. Don't get too tunnelly visioned. Because if you need to make an adjustment, it's easier to do it sooner than later. As with all things. But it would be better to make the adjustment sooner. So that way you're not hating the way things are going until it gets too far, right? Alrighty. So I'm not sure who's doing the full edit on the lighthouse speed felt, if it's going to be me or the husband. The husband said he would do it. But getting him into the headspace to actually do it can be a little time consuming, because he asked me the other day to remind him about it, and I did, and he's like, okay. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I'm still gonna have to do a final pass through because there's some stuff he doesn't have the patience to edit out. But my final pass through on the previous speed felt took me like 2.5, 3 days. Instead of doing the entire project the way I was doing it, which was taking me like 2 months. So it's still a little bit faster to have him helping. I'm hoping to be able to get some painting done this week, but I also have house chores I have to catch up on. We're still going on that first chunk. We're almost out of it. Got the other half of it sitting to the side here. Probably have to do one more row over here before we move back over to the other side. But I'm hoping to play around with my dotting tools this week. Hoping to. We'll see what I have the time for. I have to shampoo a rug that I never got around to. I have to clean. Kitchen needs a good mopping. Our dining room / storage area needs a good cleaning. It's gotten away from us again, especially with the mother-in-law coming back soon. So we've definitely got some things that we have to do. Alright, I'm just lightly scraping out the fluff there, fanning it out. I haven't stabbed in and I'm pulling, I'm just surface scraping. If you stab in and pull, you're going to snap your needle. Don't do that. It will not end well for anybody. I haven't had to order more needles yet. I think I've only gone through maybe 3 or 4 that have broken. I still have quite a few. Alright, I'm gonna flip this guy over. Just gonna smooth out the back. You don't have to do this part. Just something I like to do every so often. And I think it's time to turn my mat. So I'm working in a different spot. I just have that covering the logo on the tag so nobody thinks this is sponsored, because it's not. And the manufacturer of the mat put their tag right there, and if I had thought about it, I should have used the other side. But I didn't until I'd already started, and I was like, oh. I mean, we could use the other side. Nothing wrong with this side. It's got some fluff on it, but you can use this side. That's fine. I have no qualms about using this side. Oh, I pulled that a little too much, I think. Alrighty. Alright. Snippy snip. And the mat I'm using is from Wool Buddy, again, not sponsored, and I am liking it actually. I'm enjoying it much better than the other one. Has a better feel to it, personally. Alright. So just keep putting in our layers of our grass. Alrighty. So I'm cutting this section a little short, it seems like. Alright. Not sure why I started doing that, but I did. Not too bad. I mean, we do get some of our dirt shining through. That's always a plus when that happens. Right. So we'll get that put into there. Alrighty. Again, I'm just gonna fan that guy out just a little bit. Got him overlapping in a couple of spots. I don't want it to look too stripy, and I think we've managed to avoid that for the most part. I mean, it's a little stripy here and there, but it's not too bad. There's like no definitive pattern between each row, which is what I was looking for. Wanted to give it a little bit more of a haphazardness. Okay, so let me just fan out this guy. Well, that works. We've got a different color on our outer edge this time. I had started to notice a pattern of green showing up on that outer edge, like 2 rows in a row. I was like, uh-oh. That we don't necessarily want. Like, it was okay. But I didn't want it on every row. Okay, get a little bit more water here. Just kind of want to... Oh, no, 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 no. Didn't want to do that. Didn't want to do that. got a good chunk of, it seems like mostly our glorious gold in there. Just trying to get him a little more stretched out so it wasn't quite so thick. I didn't mean to pull that section away from everything else. That was not intended. Most definitely not. Okay, so I'm going to take this to about the bottom edge of our dirt line so far. There's going to be more stuff happening down in here. It might be a slightly different color though. We will see when we get there. It might end up being the same color combo. Or it might lean a little more yellow. Like I might take the green out and add in maybe Buttercup or something, or Varsity. We'll see how that ends up going. When we get there, which might actually be before we get to the building. I think we might do that before the building, because the building should be sitting in front of it. But I also hate doing super large chunks of solid color all at once, because then it gets kind of monotonous. It's like, oh god, you're still doing this. Like, yeah, we're still doing this. Takes a little bit of time to get through. Like, this isn't a very fast medium, especially if you're being picky. With placement and stuff. I mean, if you're just creating something out of your brain, it might be a little bit faster. But since we're actually following a tutorial, we're trying to follow the tutorial. However, there might be times where I have to jump ahead and then go back. Just kind of based off of what's happening with what Bob is doing and where he's putting stuff. Because he can just scrape paint off and put something else there as he's going, right? But we can't really do that very easily, so we either have to chalk that up to fluff that's getting covered entirely, or we make a space for it ahead of time, right? And we know to save it. Save that spot. So that's kind of like what happened here with the water mill. We saw that the water mill was going in. We knew where it was going in. And because I've never done a water mill before, ever, of any description that I can recall, that was definitely something I was not comfortable freehanding. So I wanted to get that in on the felt, not the fluff. Like, there's times where I'll try to freehand the cabins that he does, because they're usually not too terrible shape-wise, but this had a lot going on, so I didn't want to get too ambitious first time out in case it became a totally hot disaster. I know he doesn't really sketch anything out, but I kind of needed to for my own brain, so that way I knew the proportions that we're shooting for. It still might not come out anything like it's supposed to. It is me after all. But you know, at least we kind of have the idea down, and maybe it'll come out somewhat identifiable. We'll have to see. It might come out looking like something a 3-year-old put together. I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there. I feel like there's a cat on the other side of my desk or under my desk. My desk just shook. Little likes to hang out under my desk sometimes. I was actually hoping to get more edited last night, but I just got so damn tired. Alright, just kind of going back, making sure all of the sections that we snipped are actually attached. Okay. So, almost done this side. Almost. That doesn't look too bad. It could look worse. All right. A piece of fuzz on my arm. I'm not even sure where that came from. It doesn't look like yarn. Okay. We do have a yarn flamingo emote, although I can't remember if I put it under subscriber or follower. I know some stuff was being weird when I was trying to add it and move some stuff around. I know I put it in. Alrighty. We'll trim that guy up. It's weird because the tip on these scissors doesn't close. I don't know why, if it was a manufacturing error or something, but there's a gap on the tip. So it doesn't actually do anything up there. Kind of aggravates me that I can't use the tip to snip. Like, why? I have my scrapbooking scissors somewhere. And I do like those. I really need a smaller pair of scissors. Oh, maybe I'll get like a tiny pair of cuticle scissors. Those fuckers are sharp. I have to be careful with those if I get them. Okay. Our last little bit on this side at the moment. I'm going in here. Oh, careful. And that finger protector's earning its money today. Most definitely. It stabbed my fingernail several times by now. Stop it. Hand-eye coordination sucks. Alright. So I feel like we got a good color variation in there. Not too shabby. Kind of bruised my other finger last night, my other index finger. I went to reach for something to move it. Instead, I caught it on the box next to the area I was trying to reach for. I thought I broke my fingernail. I didn't. I bent it somehow, and then underneath my fingernail was starting to bleed just a little bit. It ended up bruising a tiny bit. I was like, God damn it. Okay, so we got that side kind of in. I mean, it's a little stripey in some spots, but it's not too bad. Alright. I mean, it looks kind of like a field, you know, overgrown and patchy. Okay, now, over here, we need to figure out some things. What the hell is that? I have no idea. Okay, so over here, he had some green. Just the slightest bit of yellow, so I think we might mix a little bit of buttercup into this. Not a huge amount, just a little bit for our tree. I'm gonna have to fluff more buttercup, I know that much. All these colors. We're gonna need to dig through the yarn box. Maybe I won't have time to paint this week. We'll see. Okay, I'm just trying to get these kind of incorporated into each other a little bit, so there's not one giant mass of any one color here. Definitely more favored on the lime. Okay. Alright. Got caught on my keyboard tray. Sorry about that. I've got to get some WD-40 on that if we have any. I think we do. We had to fix our doorknob on our front door the other day. Our lock got stuck. And did not want to lock on the inside. Husband was sitting on the floor taking the door apart, trying to figure out what the hell was going on. And his thought process on the whole thing, I'm like, we're gonna have to go buy a new doorknob now, aren't we? Because he couldn't figure out what was going on at first. But then he finally found the mechanism that was being sticky. I'm just kind of trying to scrape this about so we're not too terribly thick in any one spot. I have a little bit more of this color off to the side there, mixed if we need it. I just didn't want to use all of it in here at once. Oh, so the husband's flip-flops broke. He kind of wore them out because he wears them all the time. He hates wearing regular shoes. And all the Crocs they have right now are fleece-lined and he can't stand those. I mean, he could try to order a regular pair of Crocs. But we went to Walmart the other night and we grabbed coats to try to get him shoes. And all the flip-flops were gone. It was all winter shoes. I'm like, we're like 2 weeks too late. He goes, yeah, probably. It's like, oh no. I hate ordering shoes online. It's like my biggest, well, not my biggest, but it's one anxiety point for me because my feet are so weird. Half the time I have to have wide sizes in order to be even somewhat tolerant of my shoes. It's horrible. And then for him, like certain things will, like certain textures of the shoe, like if it rubs just a certain way here, or no, that's too hard there. This edge is not soft enough. So I'm like, shit. Now what? It's very expensive when you are texture sensitive. I don't know what word to use there. I guess sensitive would be the word. You can't just be like a normal person and be like, oh yeah, this is the size I need. Every shoe's cut different. I don't care what people say. I can take a size this in this shoe. And yet, if it's from, even if it's the same brand, a different style, it will be a different size. It's fucking infuriating. Why? I used to do this size. Now I'm on this size. Oh, well, wait, it's that shoe? No, I need this size in that shoe. That feels a little tight. You know, it's just like, oh my god. And, like, whenever I do go to try on shoes, I have to, like, tend to wear my thickest possible sock I could end up in. so that way I know if the shoe's gonna work. Because if I wear like my thinnest socks and it works with those, I'm like, yeah, no, we're good. And then I end up needing to wear my thicker socks for something, and I put it on. It's like, oh no, why are these shoes don't fit? Like, what the hell? I'd rather have my shoes be a little bit big than tight and rubby, because that just fucking aggravates the ever-living snot out of me. Alright, so we're just kind of working on putting our leaves on our tree here. This side's going to be a little bit thicker, it would seem. Trying to get a little bit of our brown to show through so we don't lose it entirely. It's easier said than done, though. Alrighty. We might need more of this than I thought we were going to. He does have another, like, half shrub that I hadn't planned on in here when I originally put the brown in, so that one we might just end up omitting. I don't think it's gonna be that huge of a thing, though. Like, I don't think it's gonna be that terribly noticeable once we get the other stuff kind of worked in here. Alright. So we'll get this worked into here. Alright, I'm hoping we don't have to add too much extra. We'll see. But hopefully we won't necessarily need to. We shall see. Kitty, you're making me nervous because I hear my wires tapping on the other side of my tower. And I don't know who it is. I'm okay if they're sitting in the windowsill. I'm less okay with them sitting on the edge of my desk. Because I have the air pump for the fish tank sitting over there that I had to tape down one of the wires to because they kept sitting on it and nudging it up against the side of my tower, making the whole damn thing vibrate. I was like, no, 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 no. No, no. Let's not do that. was like, that made a god-awful noise. Woke me up one morning. I was like, what the hell am I hearing? Because I was hearing it over my fan, but I couldn't place what the noise was because I didn't ever remember hearing it before. And as far as I knew, my PC was off, so I was like, oh, it's not my PC. We actually had to put a guard over my power button because one of the cats turned my PC on after I had turned it off because they stepped on the power button. I have my tower up on my desk instead of below it because dust bunnies. All of the dust bunnies ever like to accumulate down on the floor. Are they really dust bunnies though, if it's mostly animal fur that accumulates, or are those fur bunnies? I don't really know. Oh, that looks bad. We might have to add some more green on top of this. I forgot to highlight our tree trunk anyway. Like, I've got a little too much brown poking through there. I think it looks a little too splotchy. So that I'm not okay with, so we'll have to figure that out here in just a second. I'm gonna highlight the tree trunk real quick though, before we add a little bit more onto that. It's like it's a little too something. Let's see. What the hell was that? Oh. That's why I tend to stab that, because my desk isn't level. Because the floor is not level. I mean, we've got some pink. We could highlight it in the pink. It's almost white. You know what, we've got a really light gray. We'll grab that. It'll be fine. And I really don't need much of this at all. So this is some of my roving. Like, I need so little of this. Like, that's probably even too much. So this was just a mixed set of, was it merino roving that I picked up when I first started out doing this. I haven't replaced this because I switched to the yarn. Right now I'm just trying to use that stuff up as I come across a color. This is way too much. Way too much. Okay. Alright, so I just kind of want to put the highlight on our tree here. Alright, so we're going to try and get that good and attached. Is really, really thick. Okay. Way too much. Alright. I'm gonna put that over there. I'm gonna come back in and make sure this is fairly solid. Or as solid as we can get it. I'm gonna come back and deal with this tree though. Not happy. Grab just a little bit more on our green, I think. And we will work that in here. All right. So I'm gonna try to pull a little bit more of that off. It's like I don't want to go too crazy on here, right? I need to kind of fill in this middle. I know I said I didn't want to lose our brown, or at least not too much of it. Okay, so it does take a little bit of time when you're using the thinner bits here. Definitely not fully attached yet. I mean, that helped a little bit, but it's not quite there just yet. We're getting there. We're getting there, I think. This might be enough on this guy. Potentially. If I can get him all attached, that would be even better. Alright. Okay, so there's that. I have to figure out what we're gonna do for these. We could just leave those be and have them just be like little stickies coming up, which I'm actually leaning towards. I kind of like that idea. You know what? For right now, I'm gonna stick this bit of green back in its bag. Okay, so we're gonna grab some Varsity Gold. This one's from Big Twist. And we'll grab some paint box. probably way too much. We'll see though. Maybe it's not enough. I don't know. We have to put in our shrubbers here. Alright, I'm just going to pull that piece out. That piece didn't brush out quite so well. That's fine. Alright, just going to kind of loosen up all of these strands here since we're going to be trying to combine. Okay, give me this piece. Sometimes you'll get a piece or two of fluff that didn't want to cooperate in the brushing out process. It happens. At least for me it does. I'm just pulling those to the side. If I don't think I can get them separated enough doing it this way. Just for this, because I mean, I don't want anything too thick lined in here, I guess. Kind of want a little bit more of a thinner separation here. Alright, so this is going to be for our shrubbery line. Okay. Don't know if I really need to hit that heavy with this varsity, but the buttercup also shouldn't be taking over either. Alright. Just gonna grab 2 drops of water here. One might have been enough, but alright. So I'm gonna do this side a little bit differently. Or I might like do some circles just to do some rounder guys in here, just to kind of change our shapes up a little bit. I mean, they're not all gonna be quite like that. But we'll see what we can come up with here. Looks like there's the tiniest bit of green mixed into that. Well, that wasn't intentional, but I think it happened anyway. That's okay. Alright. I'll grab another bit of fluff here. I'm just snipping pieces off. Like, I don't want it to all be the same size. In height, I want to get a little bit of some variation in shapes and stuff in here. Because, you know, stuff wouldn't necessarily grow symmetrical. Even though my brain can't stand it. When I'm making something and it's not. Kinda hoping I don't have to mix more of this, but I might. We just might have to. We will see. Alright, so I'm gonna add this guy just kind of down here. I'm gonna fill in this gap at the bottom. I made the other one a little short. See what we can do. Alrighty. Although I wanted to fill in that gap there, and I totally didn't. I filled in the one gap. Somehow missed filling in the other one. Because I've got all kinds of purple shining through in there. That's a little infuriating, but nope, that's the wrong bit of fluff. Alright. So we're gonna try one more time to fill in those gaps. I mean, those gaps might have been fine. That was just a step too far for me to let go, though, personally. It would have bothered me. It was bothering me. Right, hold on, I got something in my eyelashes. At least that's what it feels like. I don't know if I have like an eyelash crossing funny, or if I had like a piece of fluff. I could feel it moving weird. I hate being so hyper aware of my eyelashes and their feeling sensations. It's crazy. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen sometimes. And when it does, I'm like, please stop. "20 minutes later, I'm still trying to find the offending eyelash. Like, I don't think normal people do this. Do they? Does this happen to everybody? I don't think it does. Now this stuff might have needed to be a little bit taller, but that's okay. Again, ours doesn't have to look exactly like Bob's, and it shouldn't look exactly like Bob's. because we're not trying to do an exact match. We're just kind of using him to guide us on our learning journey. So, like, maybe 70% Bob, 25% we're just fucking making it up as we go and figuring it the hell out. Sort of deal. Alright. That's how we're just gonna view it. Is that pot still okay? Is it boiling?
Yeah, I checked on it until it was at a nice light rolling boil.
Okay. You okay? I heard stuff falling out there.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. Alright. So we'll work on getting this row tapped in here. And I promise Bob's trees were purpley. We added the row of lighter purple. But he did have some purpley guys in there. That wasn't ad-lib. Or improv or whatever you want to call it. So I kind of want our sticky guys to be a little bit visible there on the other side of our shrubs. I don't want to get too carried away with the height on our shrubbery in this part. There we go, those are poking up behind. That's fine. That's looking pretty good there. All right. Here I was worried we weren't going to have enough of that, and we definitely do. Alrighty. So we'll get this guy. Oh, finger. This finger protector, man. He's going to be demanding a pay raise today. Some days I don't really seem to need the safety equipment, and then other days my hand-eye coordination just is shit. This seems to be one of those days. That's why we always try to use this stuff. Like, it came with the toolkit for a reason. We should probably be using it. Oh yeah. I now understand your use. Alright. So we'll get that tapped into there. Alright, pull that up. It's so thick in this section, we weren't even hardly reaching the pad. That's funny. Alright. So I'm gonna cut another section of that off. We do have two colors mixed together here. We have our varsity gold and our buttercup. That's why it looks like there's a slight shade difference happening. Alright, so we'll get that. Oh, jeez. That one made a ping noise. Alright. Just gonna flare that out just a little bit. Because sometimes the scraggly flyaways work in our advantage. Giving it a little bit more life. This guy's definitely going to be a thicker one. I'm glad we're not trying to frame him. Because that would have been bit tedious. All right. Trying to keep our edge as clean as we can. Alright, that's not bad. So this color combo I'm going to sit to the side. Because I don't know if we're going to need him anymore with where we're at. We do have some more of our grass color that we've already got mixed here. So we're going to grab that guy. And we'll see about getting him in here. So this is mustard yellow, glorious gold, and lime green that we have tried to blend together. Right, so the edge of this grass is going to end up getting cut off just a little bit when we put the building in, and that's fine. Like, I'm expecting that, so not going to be a real huge surprise there. Okay. This guy's very fluffy. Very fluffy guy. Alright. So we'll just fan out those colors just a little bit. We'll pick a grow point, which would be closest to my finger there. And then we'll start fanning everybody upwards. And we'll see how things go from there. You okay?
Mm-hmm.
Do you need anything from me?
Nope.
Okay. I think tomorrow we need to do some yard work.
Do what?
Yard work. It's really scraggly out front. Like, I think the city's gonna be getting mad. We need to, like, weed whack or mow or something. When I took Momo out, it was getting really tall around the mailbox. Alright. This section's just so thick. I'm trying to thin it out, but thinning it out is kind of pulling it all apart, and that's not exactly what I was going for. Okay. So I might have to raise the next bit here. Just so we're covering the bottom of that shrub line a little bit better. I think that's what we're gonna do. So now that I'm away from the building, I feel a little low. Not tremendously, but a little bit. So I think we'll make this bit just a little bit taller. Might be a little too tall. Alright. Let's plant you. And then I'll start to work up. And we'll give you a little trimmy trim. Just wanted to get that anchored a little bit before we trimmed. So don't lose our length. Alrighty. So we'll get this worked into here. Okay, that's not too bad. And we'll slide over a bit and start the next section. What? Keep hitting that finger protector today. It's gonna be one of those days. It seems. All right. This little clump of grass color that we have mixed together, it keeps feeling so thick when I go to cut it. I feel like I'm cutting our project itself. It keeps making me nervous. That's why I'm going so slow, snipping that. I'm like, oh, what am I cutting? Alright, get a little more water here. I don't have to make it that tight, but it's helping keep everything from getting a little too carried away here. I know it seems silly when I come back and fan it out after positioning it. But it's helping me a little bit. At least during the placement. And don't be afraid to overlap here. I mean, eventually it'll get too thick for the needle to go through. So you keep that in mind, but the overlapping does help a little bit. So you don't have any like weird seams popping up and stuff. I just want to make sure that we've got that section that we just snipped tapped down. You know, there's always going to be a couple little loose guys sticking up after the snip. Okay, but we're coming along here. Definitely coming along. I know it didn't look like much when we just had the brown down, but the brown is serving its purpose. We had to put our dirt down before we could grow stuff. I mean, the roots had to have somewhere to go, right? All right. So we'll get this guy. And we'll definitely have to mix more of this color. I really don't want to mix more when we're not doing more art till next Sunday. Oh, no. You're supposed to be up in there, because I'm afraid I'll lose the color, or it'll get stuff in it, other fluff that shouldn't be there. So we might wait to mix more of this till next week, or at least till Sunday. That's kind of what I'm thinking we'll do. If we had more time today, I'd be fine with mixing more of it now. But I don't think we have quite enough time to bother. I thought a piece of my hair was in there. It was just the way the fluff was sticking out. Oh wait, hold on. We have our loose ends from our trim. Definitely want to get those worked in. Okay. We're doing pretty good here. Dang it. Stop it. Stop it. I keep hitting that tip of the finger protector. Usually a little bit better about it than that. Keep missing my target today. Slightly maddening. Just a bit. Alrighty. Get all this section put in here. So we didn't do too bad today. I mean, we got this side finished up, right? And then we got our tree colorized and swirled up there. And we got our shrub line in front of the tree. This section was a little thick, so that's why I did 2 drops. Oh, nope, 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 nope. And then we got started on our grassy field on this side. So we're not doing too bad here. So goals for next Sunday are gonna be finishing up our field on this side and possibly putting in our river. Now I might do the river in its entirety, like all the way down to the bottom edge when we go to put that in, just for simplicity's sake. I think Bob only does the top section of his river at first, because he started to put in the water and then he was fussing with his shoreline here, and we still have to shade our shoreline. We have not done that yet. I was just kind of focused on getting our darker colors placed. Yesterday on, was that yesterday? No. Maybe. Well, whenever we last worked on that. That might have been sometime last week. In a previous session. Well, excuse me, we'll put it that way. Alright, so we'll get this guy worked in here. Oh, it's a Momo. Momo's back. Momo's like, hey,
Hi, buddy.
what you doing?
Just sitting down, which is clearly a mistake.
Well, if he can wait a minute, I can get him. Alright, so we'll get this section put into here. So our...
Sorry.
What was that?
I don't know. Something on your desk.
Okay. So we will end up having to mix a new color midway through this section, but that should be okay. be alright. We've got that slight color difference between the other one. Oh yeah, we're not looking too bad here. We're getting there, Bob. We're much slower than you, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Alright, so we got this side finished up. We got that done. We put in this hedge line back here in our two-toned yellow, and now we're working on our three-tone grass section in there. So yeah, so the grass section's gonna stop maybe about here-ish, roughly, and then I'll leave some room to like hedge down a little bit of the grass into the shoreline. And then we have to start putting in our river somehow here. Well, we'll see if we can get it figured out, but I think that's gonna do it for today because I really don't want to mix more of this color and just have it sit all week and try to keep track of it. So I hope everybody had a good afternoon. I thank you for popping in and joining me. If you want to see this from the beginning, those sessions are on the YouTube channel, so don't forget to follow all the socialies down below. We've got links to the Ko-fi, the YouTube, the Instagram, and what's left of the dumpster fire that is Twitter. And yeah, so if Twitter takes entirely, we might go back to Facebook. I just don't want to add a Facebook page right now for something else for me to have to update. I know a lot of people are jumping to Blue Sky. I don't know if that requires a membership fee or if it's just on invite only right now. I don't know. But I'm not over there at the moment. So, we'll see what happens. And I hope you all have a good week. I will be back on Thursday for Coral Island. We will do Coral Island this week, hopefully. Sorry about last week, but I had a terrible migraine. So yeah, we'll pick back up with Flock This Farm on Thursday. That's our new save, because some of the older save files seem to be more buggy than the newer ones. So I was like, well, let's check out a new file. It was time anyway. So I will see you all on Thursday. Have a good week, and until next time.